Welcome to Revolution 2021. Guys, I don't know about anybody else, but seeing this show, as you see my title, mostly done well. And I'll say that honestly before I get started, even with this review. And I want to make this very clear. Three things. Three. It is nearly 12 o'clock at night. People are now coming home from work. So if you hear people making noise and a dog barking, you're going to have to put up with it. 2, this show was almost 6 hours freaking long. Counting buy-in and 40 minutes of nothing but advertisement. 40 minutes of advertisement for calm down. You got to understand. The WWE, when it does it, we give them shit. For AEW, I'm not giving them anything else. They're getting shit. They should have started this at 7 instead of at 8, and they could have just forgo for this one. They didn't need to have a buy-in. If they had to have one, it could have been 30 minutes long, 15 minutes long. It's 6 almost hours of content. I don't know about anybody else. I'm tired. And I'm cranky. That's number 3. I'm freaking cranky. Because this show was mostly good. But there were things that were done here that did not need to be done. And honestly, it could have been saved for a Dynamite. I'm saying it right now. It could have been saved for damn Dynamite. Flat out, didn't need to be done. Let's get started with buy-in. 40 minutes of advertisement for the show, which I do not believe they need to do, because throughout most of the show when they were giving up the advertisement there, it didn't need to be done here. You would think they learned something from WWE and not do it, because a lot of their fans don't like the kickoff shows being so damn long, having nothing but advertisement and very little wrestling. You would think they learned something. No, they didn't. So what did we get in this buy-in? We got Britt Baker working with Miku Tiko, who's supposed to be the cutest girl in the world. I believe from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then we have Rio with Thunder Rosa. This could have been done on a Dynamite. They could have forgo this buy-in and just put it on Dynamite. It was a throwaway match. It was. It didn't need to happen. Now, if it leads into the Women's World Championship, which it did, you could say, well, it made sense. But honestly, it didn't make any sense because it wasn't necessary. And I don't even remember who won. Who won the damn match? Who won? It was Rio and it was Thunder Rosa who won, I believe. I believe it was them. Was it? Who won the damn match? I don't even remember if I... It wasn't. It was Britt Baker and it was Tico. I believe I'm pronouncing her name wrong, so I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm cranky. This match did not need to happen. They didn't need a buy-in. They could have skipped it and done something WWE always does and wasn't necessary. I'm just saying. Opening match. I'll say this. It was wise to put the tag title on the line in the beginning of the show. I had no problem with it. It needed to happen, and I'm glad it did happen. And their story, I won't say it's one of the best stories that I've seen, but it was a good enough a story that it was engaging to most of the people that were there. So it was no problem with it. Seeing at one point, you got a nice whack of a Judas effect on a Warlow because Chris messed up. He missed his spot. But I'm going to say this. Was this a great match? No. Was it a good match? Yes, to a certain extent. There was a lot of botchiness. Some of it came from Nick, some of it came from Matt, and some of it came from, guess who, MJF, who looked the best there because of him trying to get the inner circle. That's the story there. It's not just Nick and Matt being insulted and their dad being attacked. This is about MJF trying to convince the inner circle it's time for a change. And when this match was over and the Bucks won, they did not win the titles. You got that champion saying that this coming week we're going to, we first get him basically interviewed and said, so how does it feel to fail, pretty much? He says, we didn't fail. It is a strategy that didn't work. But we're going to change strategies. You will hear a change in what's going to happen this Wednesday. And he asks, so do you agree with me, MJF? And he says, oh yeah, there's going to be a change. What do I think? Finally, Santana, Ortiz, Hager, and Wardlow are pretty much going to say bye-bye Chris, because they're going to say they keep losing because of him. I think this is the end for Chris Jericho. Either they're going to whoop his ass or they're going to throw him out of the inner circle, and MJF probably will not become the leader at first. They'll say next week, maybe, this is what I'm thinking, next week, maybe they'll choose a new leader. But it's going to be MJF. I do believe this is when it starts. This is where it begins and where it ends. Let's move on. We got the Casino Royale, and it was the tag team battle royal. You already know how it worked, so I don't need to explain it. Who were the most best spotlighted? Jungle Boy was one. He did pretty well. We had a very interesting situation between QT Marshall and Dustin at one point when the Gun Club come in, because they're supposed to be a part of the Nightmare family. He eliminates them both, along with, I believe, Avalon. So, I could be wrong. I think it was Avalon. I can't remember. There was so much going on. And you see Dustin get angry at him and basically, what are you doing? And he says, you know what? Fuck this. He jumps out of the ring and eliminates himself, and then he spits at Dustin that's in the ring. So that was a surprise. So that means he's going off on his own. You also see Dustin lasting quite a long time, which was a good thing. Luchasaurus looked great. Avalon and his partner, I can't remember, was it Finito or Finado, whatever. What did he call himself? Finado. I can't pronounce his name. He didn't look too bad, but he acted stupid. And then you had 3 teams from the Dark Order, and they acted very ridiculous, going like this every single time when they had a moment. And I think they went a little too far with it, for the simple reason that if they're supposed to really, for me personally, if they're supposed to really honor Brody Lee's memory, they should have been a little more vigorous. And Evil Uno should have said, we got to do this for Brody. I think, and I know you're not supposed to do that too much, which we haven't seen. The only thing we've seen is -1, Brody Lee's real son. And I think this would have been a good thing if, for me personally, if you saw this from Evil Uno, trying to rally them, trying to get them to stay together and to focus. Even though they all were eliminated at different times, eventually, that's what I thought. 10 also looked good along with Silver. Silver and 10, I believe, spotlighted the best. Silver was at the end. Who was at the end? Silver was the only one left from Dark Order, and he lasted the longest. He wasn't there at the very beginning, but he lasted the longest of Dark Order, which I did enjoy. Jungle Boy also lasted a while. And then you had I was happy to see Rey Fenix and Pac of Death Triangle being at the end. And it was them who won the damn thing. And you see that Rey Fenix was freaking happy. He was happy. Doing what he needed to do. With Dark Order. Against Dark Order. Against, when it came to Jurassic Express. Against everybody. They managed to outlast everyone. So I am somewhat okay with that. Because I think Reynolds and Silver should have won. Because since Silver is very popular, I would have thought that he should have been the one to win it because he was the last of Dark Order. That would have made some sense, but that's just me. Okay. The match that honestly was a little better than I expected. Hito Kushida versus Ryo Mishumiya. What is it? Mushi? I'm mispronouncing a name. I'm tired of mispronouncing names. I'm sorry. The Women's World Heavyweight title match. I'll say this. The person that seemed to have the most animation, in other words, the most amount of character, was Ryo. Not Ryo that we normally get. Ryo Mishimori. I believe that's her name. Mishimori. she was very animated. Now, she was spotlighted a bit at the buy-in, and they replayed it again before the match. Fine. She has character. I liked her character a little bit. She was very playful. She was arrogant, but she got the business done in the ring. So I will say, at least with her, you could see a character even though she wasn't part of the roster. Then you look at Shida, and she acted heelish. And she didn't say before the match happened that she was going to do 100% whatever it took. But she wanted to prove, because they did state a story, that they've known each other for over 10 years. And when they first broke in, it was Mishimuri who embarrassed her. And she just wanted to get a match over her because she's never won against her. So this meant a lot to her. But the way she was acting, she's supposed to be a face. Mishimuri seemed to be more of a heel. But then you start seeing Shida start acting heelish. Now, does this mean that Shida is going to be a heel from now on? Are they going to finally pull the trigger and give her a character that we can understand and spotlight it on Dynamite? I don't know. But it was interesting to see her actually start poking the eye and trying to cheat to win because she could not beat Mishimuri. Now, when it was over, who came out? You had Baker, who I think should have been the one who won the entire thing. You got Nia Rose, who could have won the entire damn thing. And then you had Rebel, who was not supposed to win anything. No, not Rebel. Yeah, Rebel, as well as Keisha. I believe her name is Miku Kido? Maybe Miku Kido. I could be pronouncing her name wrong. I'm sure I am. But when it comes down to this situation, and this is a situation you wonder where they're going, guess what? A match on Dynamite has already been booked. And that kind of made what happened at buy-in superfluous, because they could have left this at buy-in. Left it out of buy-in. You didn't even need to do buy-in. You could have done this. The women could have still been there. And they could have still done this without the buy-in match, which could have shortened the show tremendously, because people, if they were watching like me, who wants to do the review or even wanted to watch the damn thing, you got 6 hours of freaking content and filler for 40 minutes of it. Did not need to go there. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Now, Miro and Sabin versus the orange one and Chuck. Now, here's the thing. Chuck and Orange Cassidy gets attacked before the match happened, and Cassidy is basically body slammed, and Chuck get his head smashed into, and I believe I got the shot. It's in my face. If I got it. If I don't, sorry. He get his head smashed into a door that had a glass pane in it, and he cracked his head on the glass pane. And supposedly also he cut himself. They drag him out to the ring, and you hear Miro saying, "You could have had something better. Say it. Say what needs to be done. Say it." And he says, "Start the damn match." What did we get here in this match? It made Miro look dominant, but then at the same time not dominant. Because what do we got here? If Miro was by himself, he went up against Orange Cassidy and Chuck, it would have been more effective. Because, I'm sorry, if anybody likes Sabian, I can understand why you like Penelope Forbes. That woman is gorgeous. She has good ability in the ring. But Sabian, he doesn't do it. I'm sorry. He was botchy through most of the match. He felt like he wasn't really paying attention, or he wasn't himself. Whatever. I don't know what it was. He just felt off. And generally speaking, as a wrestler, he's not bad, but he's not on... This is Miro. This is Sabian. Not because he's a smaller stature wrestler. He's not. That's not the problem. He just didn't seem to be it. For me personally. I was yelling during that match, like, this is stupid. Almost. And I caught gas. This gave me gas. Let's make it like this. This match gave me gas for the simple reason it could have been better. It could have been better, and it wasn't. Because, yes, Miro won. But what does he actually gain by destroying Chuck? What does he gain against Orange Cassidy? I mean, what does he gain? I have to actually look at my notes just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything because there's so much of this damn show. As far as I'm concerned, Miro should move away from Sabian and Penelope Forbes, move away from Chuck, move away from Orange Cassidy. Yes, I know they're gonna do a blow off match, Orange Cassidy or Chuck. They're gonna do probably one more match, and I think they should end it on Dynamite this week and let Miro go off and do something else. He should. That's what I think should happen. Doesn't mean it will, but that's what I think should happen. Now, Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page. The match for big money. Whoever wins gets the quarterly earnings of the other from January of this year to the end of this month of March 31st, the first quarter, which could be between $10, $20, $30, $40,000, counting how you get paid, how your merch sells, and any type of endorsements that you do on the side. That's, well, actually it's from AEW, but if it's connected to AEW, it's some type of endorsement. That's what he got. So, was this a good match? It was. Seeing that Matt Hardy was running around wasn't too surprising. Seeing that he smashed up the hand of Hangman Page was a wise thing to do to try and stop the buckshot lariat. I'm bouching here, I'm tired. I even skipped dinner to make sure I didn't miss anything from this show. I'm hungry, I'm tired, and I'm cranky. If you enjoyed this match, there's a good reason. It was not that bad of a match. You did get Private Party coming out to try and help out Money Matt. Then you got Dark Order coming out, saving a Hangman Page and helping him win that damn match. And in the end, what did we get? We get a hug. We get the best friends in the Dark Order hugging Hangman Page. I'm like, does this mean Hangman is going to join Dark Order? No, I don't think he's going to join it. I still believe he's going to stay on his own. But Dark Order, he'll probably hang out with them more. He just won't join them. If he does join them, it better make some sense why he joins them, and he better say why he's doing it, because they saved him, or he feels like, well, you know what, this time, I'm going to trust you guys. I don't think he will. I think he'll still be on his own. But this is just me. You guys tell me below. Now, we got the... You know what? When you look at Face Revolution ladder match, you look at the brass ring. I don't have a full shot of it. That looks like a little bit of a rub to WWE, saying if you want to be the best, you got to reach for that damn brass ring, that imaginary brass ring. So you know what? They actually made a match with a real brass ring in it, just to say, WWE, fuck you. You're stupid about that brass ring crap. We'll actually do a real match with a real brass ring to cement a new person going after the TNT title, to give them a shot at it, to try and see if they can get somewhere. This is what we got. Now, we got Caster from Acclaim. We got... Hang on a second. It's a lot of noise in my area. A lot of people tend to go and get ambulances or police. Sorry, guys. You got Pentagon Jr. You got Archer. You got Caster. You got... Who else was in it? You got Cody. You got also... I can't believe I'm botching on Scorpio Sky's name. I am tired. Was this a good match? Yes. It was a good match for what it was. You got Cody who had a messed up shoulder because of the week before. So, not the week before, when he went up against Shaq, he got a messed up shoulder. They played up to it. At one point, he had to be taken away because he was hurt after he got basically nailed onto a ladder. So, this really revolved around Ethan Page, who was the surprise. So JD 206 was right. It was Ethan Page who came in. It was. So I was actually quite happy to see Ethan Page. And he had a crown on his head for his intro when it came to the Titantron. All Ego Ethan Page is now in AEW signed. Fine. Hopefully they will use him and utilize him And I hope he'll be able to get somewhere because he does have great ability and he's got such a good way of talking, being able to make a character. So he was good, Archer was good, and Sky was good. Those are the three that I think was the main focus. When it finally came down to it, they didn't go with Ethan Page because he just came in. They weren't going to go there. They decided to go with Scorpio Sky. Put him in my face for a minute. This is interesting when it comes to Scorpio Sky because he always said he didn't think he would ever go back into wrestling because he gave it up for a while. But then he decided to go back to it. Someone said if you really are going to forget about doing wrestling, well, he didn't forget about wrestling. He was mostly working. He didn't do wrestling much. But he said, you know what? If I'm going to finally stop wrestling, I should at least try one more time to really get somewhere. And then when I stop, I won't have any regrets. And look where it got him right now. He's in AEW. He's already gone after the world title once. And now he's going after the TNT title, which is a good thing. It's good to see him get in that spot. He's earned it. From what I can tell, he's become a decent heel. Even though they haven't shown it much on Dynamite, they're showing it on damn Dark. I wish they understand to show more clips of Dark. And now Dark, what is it? I can't even remember what the name of the other show is going to be coming out. I can't remember. But Rising, I think that's the name of it. But they better show clips of both these shows for Dynamite. If they do not, we're never going to know what's going on. Because not everyone's going to look at those shows. Until they get a real secondary brand, they're not. Hang on. It's just so annoying. They're not going to see much. But that's just me. Now, let's get this over with. The secret talent that has now been signed to AEW. Now, I said a lot of people on one of my own videos. You guys saw it. On my ZNN, I'm still thinking about maybe making a ZWN like one of the subscribers said. I think it was James Guild said, try Zane's Wrestling News. He wasn't saying that Zane's News Network was bad, but Zane Wrestling News is also not too bad either. But I said a lot of people. We even got Paul White saying the one that's coming, I'll give you a hint, he's worked more than, he can do more than anybody else. You would think hustle, loyalty, and respect. John Cena talks like that. CM Punk says he's the best in the world. No one else can outperform him. We get this guy in our face. He's in my face. Christian Cage. Now, mind you, he's a former Intercontinental Champion. Former U.S. Champion, I'm sure of. Former Tag Team Champion. Former World Champion, former TNA champion, I'm sure. I don't know if he was a tag champion TNA as well, but he could have been. Easily a Hall of Famer. No one's taking anything away from Christian Cage, and I'm not. He is a worthy Hall of Famer. But putting that much hype on Christian, I'm sorry. I can't agree with it. I can't. Not because he can't contribute something if they book him correctly. They can. He could help in the back. He can put over talent. He can help them with their promos just like Paul White can. And he could be used, hopefully sparingly, and to be used in special times that can help other wrestlers get over. But when it really comes down to it, to give him that much of a spotlight, I'm sorry. If it had been, look, if it was Edge that had done this, it would make sense. Edge has been gone for 9 years. He finally recovered, and he's there. If it had been Batista, yes. If it had been Brock Lesnar, yes. Hell, if it had been CM Punk, which he could still come, you never know. Batista has already stated that he has no interest going back in the ring, so he probably never come. But Christian, I'm not disappointed. I still think he can contribute. But if I know how people are, they are thoroughly disappointed. They are 100%. I think JD is going to be disappointed. I think Alex is going to be disappointed. I think more than a few people are going to be disappointed. Going to say, oh, well, that's interesting. But He will contribute, but to get that much fanfare, I just don't see it. It's disappointing. That is what you're going to be seeing from other people. They're going to say it was disappointing. For me personally, I don't see why they gave him that much fanfare. I do believe he will contribute, and he will probably make something interesting that I will like, as long as they book him right. But I know people are not going to be fond of that. That's just me. You guys tell me below. We got the second best thing in the show. The street fight. We got the street fight between Sting, Darby Allin, Cage, and Starks. This to me, you know what? I said it was the second best thing in the show. Honestly, it's the best thing in the show. It was for me personally. You know why? Not taking anything away from the Undertaker and AJ Styles match. It was good. It had major problems because of how they did the camera angles and the lighting. I said that myself last year. The lighting was bad. The camera angles were so bad. You could not see anything. They zoomed in way too much. When you look at this, I'm sorry. Anybody else can say you're wrong. Fine, that's your point of view. Mine, this is better than when it came to Undertaker and AJ Styles because of its production quality. Understand, one of the things I always complained about when I know there was one subscriber saying, why don't you do MLW again? You quit doing it? Well, yes, I have, because it's unwatchable. A guy like me who does wrestling reviews, I need to get clips. How can you get clips of anybody if they don't even focus on them in the ring? They don't have no good lighting to be able to get a shot. They don't have any backup, really far away views. Look, I can do this and you can see. In MLW, you can't. When it came to Undertaker and AJ Styles, the majority of it wasn't 100% bad, but the camera angles and most important parts were too close, and then the lighting was garbage. Here, it was vastly better. They used black and white at one point during the beginning of the video, beginning of the entire thing. Then you saw the army of delinquents that looked like Sting. Then you had the match itself. You separated them both out. And you had the lighting in just the right places. They did not understand. If you're going to do something like this in the dark of night, in an open field, you need big-ass floodlights. No matter how much you think it may mess up the shots you think, you need to be able to make it so you can see what's going on. And they were in an abandoned warehouse with a ring, and they were fighting, and you could generally see everything. Even when it came to the lighting for the shadows, when they had smoke, you could see them. And I believe I've been showing scenes of whatever shots I got. I got like a decent amount of shots. You could see what's been going on. You can tell that it was Sting. You could tell there was AJ Styles. You can generally see their facial expressions. You could see when they got their butts whooped. You can actually see the coffin drop that was done by Darby Allin on Starks at one point when he climbed up one of the girders of that place and dropped back and nailed him. The one shot I do believe they didn't get right was when Darby Allin was at the very top of that of where they were, and he jumped onto Cage, and he did a coffin drop maybe way higher than ever expected, and they plummeted down. I think I got a shot of that, or at least what part of I could catch. I think it would have been better if they'd done a much more further back shot and got the entire scene of him falling down onto Cage into whatever net or whatever they had at the very bottom of what that pit was. I think that would have been better. It would have been more effective. But that's just me critiquing it. When it comes down to it, this fight was way better than WrestleMania's. It was. For me personally, it will be a highlight for Sting's end of his career right now. This was a highlight. You saw Sting being active. You saw Sting being able to get up and fight. You saw Sting not just taking the hits and looking totally tanked. Now, he is 63, so he does get tanked, but they set it up so he would have enough time to rest when they did the cutscenes to make sure that he was rested enough so he didn't look exhausted. This was done very well. And I wish that the Undertaker and AJ Styles match could have been done in a warehouse instead of an open field near a farm. And actually at a farm. I think it would have been more effective inside than outside. But at that time, no one understood completely how covert was, so it's understandable why they didn't do it. But I do believe they could have done better production value, honestly. In the end, Sting gets the pin, I believe. Yeah, Sting is the one who gets the pin. With Allen, they win. The question now is, where did it go from here? What did he do with Sting now? Does he go in the ring? Or would they do another cinematic with Sting, which I think would be perfect for him? If he's got to go in the ring, let it be incredibly brief. And let him do general cinematics, just like The Undertaker was supposed to do. But make sure you do it sparingly. Maybe another one in the end of the year will be good for Sting. Now, the closing of the show. The exploding barbed wire death match. Now, finding out, what was the guy's name? I can't, Onita. I believe that's his name. I could be wrong about how to pronounce it. I'm sure I am pronouncing it wrong. But someone 25 years ago in Japan came up with this match. No one has seen it in probably the United States and who knows how long. 10, 20 years? No, 25 years. That's what they said. And it's probably still being done in Japan, but probably very rarely. This match, was it good? Yeah. There was a lot of blood. As you can see, the 3 or 4 shots that's being scrolled or whatever. Was this a good match between the two? Yes, it was a good match. Was it spectacular? No. The street fight was better. For me personally, the street fight was better. But seeing the explosions, because I thought they would use air. Because you wouldn't think they would actually use some type of pyrotechnic. Because there are some dangers of doing it. But here's the thing, guys. It was good they did use pyrotechnic on the ring ropes. Strips of pyrotechnic, fine. It was great. Throughout most of the match, there was a lot of good work in it. I enjoyed seeing how you see Kenny Omega getting bloodied up, and then you seeing Moxley having to doing a paradigm shift outside the ring, and basically taking a hit with his back was actually pretty well done. I will say this. And the story wasn't too bad. You still get the Good Brothers coming out trying to help out Kenny, which does help him, and he does win. Now, throughout this match, it was always stated over and over and over again, there's a 30-minute time limit. If they don't finish the match before that, the ring is going to explode. And this is where I believe many people are not going to be too happy about it. When it was finally over, the match was done, they chained a Moxley with handcuffs to his back. They were beating him up. The timer finally hit within 60 seconds. And Don is telling them to get out of the ring, which they finally did. They were heading to the back. And then Kingston comes out, which is good because they're friends. And even though they've been enemies, he couldn't leave him like that because he still cares about him, even though he couldn't stand that he was getting everything and he was getting nothing. That's Kingston. But he ran into the ring after fighting a little bit with the Good Brothers, runs into the ring, tries to free him, and then he realizes he can't do it. He's knocked out, and he decides to cover him up with his own body. And then, I don't have the shot, but the fireworks goes off, which was a spray of glitter fireworks, and then very small amounts of fireworks after that, which I felt was so anemic. Look, you're making it very clear that this is supposed to be an explosion. You could have used some type of low yield fireworks, something a little more stronger than that. But you used the most weakest amount of fireworks. Well, this was the first time they were ever trying to attempt something like this, and they didn't want to hurt anybody in the ring or anybody outside, so I can understand it. But it looked anemic. And Kingston trying to sell it just made it look bad. I'm sorry, guys. If you're going to go there, you should have went there a little more vigorously. No one wants anybody to get hurt, but the fireworks should have been, or the pyrotechnics should have been a lot more aggressive. It should have been more aggressive. If you were going to be clever about it, you could have put pyrotechnic in front of the camera and fire it off that way so no one at home would know the difference. You could put some in front of the ring of course. And that would be for the crowd day. That's 1,000 people along with the wrestlers. But still, it was anemic. It was so weak. I did not like it. It looked weak. But was it effective? Yes. You got Moxley unconscious. You got Kingston, who's by his side now. That means Kingston's going to be working with him to fight against Kenny now. But here's the thing, guys. You now have Revolution done. What does this mean for AEW working with Impact Wrestling? I don't know. I was hoping Kenny Omega now would start working with Impact and try to get the world title. Impact needs an infusion. They need Kenny to be there. They need something new, and they don't got it. Particularly now that NXT is going to eventually move to Tuesdays. Unless it moves to Thursdays, Impact Wrestling is going to have a very bad time trying to keep up with NXT. And I know you're going to say NXT is not as good as Impact. It's not the point. You got people who are on that network that's going to be deciding between NXT, because they're going to probably show it. Access TV will probably have the rights to show NXT, and Impact Wrestling. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to be a possible split between the fans that are already there, and Impact doesn't need that. They need more, and AEW's got to help them. But this is just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Oh man, this is going to take me so long to edit. I'm so hungry and tired. Peace!